welcome to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, to today's match review. And unfortunately we have lost today's game. A heavily rotated team. We really did mix it up. Valverde trying to give every single player probably who's going to start against Liverpool on Tuesday a big rest here and a complete weekend off, and I fully agree with that decision. The league is won, everything is done and dusted. There was nothing to play for here today, and for me it was absolutely the right decision to fully rotate. And yes, we have lost the game. 2-0 to Celta Vigo. To be honest, they completely deserved it. I thought the first half was pretty balanced, pretty mixed, but the second half Celta certainly came out, and they have a lot to play for here. They're fighting for points. They've got a really good crowd behind them today. They are really going for those points, and eventually they get their hands on them through Maxi Gomez with the first goal, and Iago Aspas, their hero, getting the second goal through the penalty spot. And like I say, Celta are a good side. They shouldn't be where they are in the league. They've got some very good players. The two strikers especially, absolutely fantastic. And obviously we've had some trips to Celta in recent years that have been very difficult anyway. You know, it's not a bad thing to lose here. It's no disgrace. I think there were some good performances out there for Barcelona today, and we are going to be discussing that in some detail, along with some big injury news. And not just for Barcelona, Liverpool also in action today. They beat Newcastle by 3-2, but that did come at a cost for them, with an injury for them too. But let's start with Valverde's starting lineup here, and let's start by discussing each player and how they got on. Starting goal here with Jasper Cillessen, who finally got some game time, and of course we did actually predict the lineup exactly as it worked out on the night. I was pretty happy with it, I have to say, pretty happy with that. And I think overall Cillessen had a few saves, happy to see him back on the pitch getting some minutes. He did make a bit of a mistake in the second half when Celta thought they'd scored through Araujo, but it was ruled out by VAR. He parried the shot straight into the path of Araujo, but like I say, ruled out through offside. Vermaelen here played at left back. He was booked along with Samuel Umtiti, who was also booked for a challenge there in the first half. Todibo to the right, I thought he had some good moments, especially today. And certainly Waggy, he was a player that really did impress me down that right-hand side. He did give away, of course, the penalty kick to Iago Aspas with that handball, but I thought Waggy showed so much energy. He showed a lot of finesse as well when he was getting into the final third. He showed some nice touches. He had a good shot on target, and I think him going forward today, really impressive. And he looks like a Barcelona player. He looks like a real Barcelona fullback, and certainly so much talent there, Moussa Waggy. And also in midfield, of course, I really enjoyed in the first half, particularly watching Arthur Melo, watching Riqui Puig and Carlos Aleñá combining there as a trio. That was really exciting to me in the first half. They had some good moments. Arthur picking the ball up here deep, controlling the ball really well, getting out of some tight spaces, and then just releasing Riqui Puig, who made some really good runs. Again, he showed his quality, he showed his massive talent, and Carlos Aleñá, of course, as well, who we know all about and we've seen in recent weeks right throughout the season in the first team. And I really did enjoy watching those three, and hopefully that is not going to be the last, of course, that we will see from those guys as a trio there. We should be seeing that more and more, of course. Into the front three, Malcolm started from the left-hand side, Kevin Prince Boateng laid in the line, and Ousmane Dembele here out on the right-hand side. But of course, he only lasted 5 minutes, and that's what we're going to talk about now. We have to talk about Dembele's injury, and I have to say, I'm absolutely gutted for him. I'm gutted once again that an injury has come along at a massive moment in the season. He's got back, he hasn't quite recaptured that confidence, that match sharpness, just when maybe now he can really focus on getting himself back in the team, back in the confidence. He's injured. Once again, his body has broken down on the field. It was a sprint on the right-hand side. Early on, he put in a high-intensity sprint, and straight away, he's feeling the back of his hamstring. It's his right leg again. It's apparently not connected to his last injury, which is very interesting indeed. But straight away, Dembele went down. You could see that he wasn't going to continue. It did look serious, a muscle problem yet again. And Valverde was on the touchline straight away saying, look, come off. At first, I thought maybe they're not going to take any risks. Maybe it's a precaution. But straight away, he came off the field. There was ice being strapped to his leg, of course. He was sat there. He looked down. Longley was asking him what was wrong, what was happening. And clearly, Dembele, once again here, does have a hamstring problem. That has been confirmed by the club itself officially, and he will undergo further tests tomorrow to determine how long he's going to be out for. I don't really know what the situation is from Dembele. Of course, we're seeing a lot of muscle injuries happening for him, and I'm so sad for him, like I say, because he is a player with so much talent, so much quality. If he'd have stayed fit right throughout the season, he would have been unbelievably instrumental for us. He would have been a massively key player. He would have been undroppable, no doubt about that. But these injuries, they have hampered his season. They have come at a really bad time for him, and once again today, just when he didn't need it, just when we want to see him play against Liverpool at Anfield, give us that outlook, give us that pace, his body has broken down. Another hamstring problem, another muscle problem for Ousmane Dembele. And I have to say today, there were a number of players going down at different periods in the game, both from Barcelona and Celta Vigo, with little muscle problems, little niggles. Also in the second half, Jean-Claire Todibo, who, like I say, I thought he had some bright moments at the centre of the fence. He also went down, clutching again what did look like his hamstring. wrong in his right leg. There were a few problems out there, like I say, for a number of players today, but overall, like I say, in that first half that we had good control. In the first half, we actually had 64% of the possession, and that in itself, that pleased me. Obviously, it's a weakened team. This is not our full strength, nowhere near it, but at the same time, we could still dominate the ball. We could still command possession. We created a few chances. The problem for me, though, of course, is when we got through that midfield where I thought it was bright, we played well in that midfield. Puig, Alenia, Arthur, very, very good players technically, but it got to that forward line. A lot of the time it stopped with Boateng, and suddenly it's a bad touch, and suddenly the attack breaks down. Now, I'm not going to single out Boateng specifically, but I just mean when we got to that final third, when we got to that final phase of play, it just broke down. We didn't have that end product, we didn't have that final finish, and that's why once again here, just like against Huesca, we failed to score. But I do believe there were some players out there today who will certainly emerge with credit, certainly emerge with a lot of talent, the likes of Wage, Puig, of course, very impressive, and I think Todibo, like I say, good players who will have more game time and certainly will be involved in Barcelona in the near future, no doubt about that. But like I say, Celta scoring, they thought they would have had one goal before that, it was ruled out through VAR. That was extremely tight, by the way, wasn't it? A really, really difficult decision there for the VAR team and the referee. It was eventually given as an offside there against Araujo, and that was debatable, but they did take the lead through Maxi Gomez. Like I say, Arthur went off, Arturo Vidal came on, it was Maxi Gomez getting into the box. It was a very, very well worked goal from Celta Vigo, has to be said, and a really good finish there from the Uruguayan striker, of course, has been linked to Barcelona this summer. Then, of course, 3 minutes from time, Wage with the handball. The referee this time once again consulted VAR. This time, though, it went in Celta's favour. They stuck away the penalty. Aspas to the right-hand side. Celta there with massive points, which takes them well clear now of the relegation zone. A big, big win for them. They had more hunger. They had quality players. And like I say, it's no disgrace today to lose to this team with everything in the bag. And also, of course, earlier on today, our closest rivals in La Liga, Atletico Madrid, they actually lost themselves. They lost to a hammering it was against Espanyol, 3-0. So overall, nothing to worry about here. We rested our players. It was the right decision from Valverde. And now we can focus on Liverpool. And that is who we are going to discuss right here and now, because like I say, Liverpool playing at exactly the same time this evening as Barcelona did. They travelled to Newcastle in the Premier League looking to keep their title hopes alive, and they just about managed it, but it certainly wasn't easy and it certainly wasn't convincing here from Liverpool. It finished 3-2 in the end. Virgil van Dijk putting Liverpool ahead. Atsu equalised for Newcastle. Salah then with a good goal to put Liverpool 2-1 up, but it was Salomon Rondon then in the second half who levelled the scores, and it did look as though Liverpool were going to draw this game. They were really pushing at the end, really trying to change the game in Liverpool's favour, and they did do that. Divock Origi getting the winning goal to just about keep Liverpool's title hopes alive, but, of course, Manchester City are still in the driving seat. But, very important things here to note from Liverpool today, going to Newcastle, some things that happened in the game and also before it. Number one, Roberto Firmino. Jurgen Klopp in the build of this game said Firmino was no chance that he was ever going to play against Newcastle because he's not fit. He came on at the Camp Nou, he didn't look right, perhaps there they aggravated something because he wasn't involved in any degree against Newcastle, and Jurgen Klopp says that Firmino is unlikely to be involved on Tuesday against Barcelona. And also midway through this game in the second half there was a very, very long stoppage at St James's Park, and it was because Mohamed Salah actually went down with a head injury. It was a very, very big collision there, coming out Dubravka of his own goal, the Newcastle goalkeeper going into Mohamed Salah. He was down for a long time. There was a long delay, like I say. It was a bad head injury, and Salah actually stretched it off there with a concussion. He was in a lot of emotional distress as well. So Salah going off for Liverpool, and he is now, of course, a big, big doubt to play Barcelona on Tuesday. But of course, the thoughts are with Salah. But what I want to say about Liverpool here is, number one, they didn't rest nearly any of their players going into this game. Alisson started, Robertson, Van Dijk, Lovren did come in, Alexander-Arnold played, Wijnaldum, Fabinho, Henderson, Mane, Sturridge and Mohamed Salah all started this game there. So a very, very strong team there from Liverpool. They didn't have the luxury of rotating players and leaving players out like we did. So certainly we are going to have the physical advantage going into this game. And not only did those players play, but they were really, really given a game here by Newcastle. They had to put every last drop of energy in to get the result. They really had to push towards the end, play the full 90 minutes. It's actually 8 minutes of added time, so 98 minutes they played today, and it was a really, really big game for them, and that would have taken a lot out of them. I think going into Tuesday, we're going to be physically a lot better shape than they are, and certainly with injuries, Firmino and Salah, like I say now, very big doubts. But obviously on our side, Ousmane Dembele also is very likely to be missing after that injury today. But overall, we've lost to Celta Vigo, but the league, of course, is won. Everything is sealed. So on that note, not much to worry about. Dembele, very, very unfortunate. I'll give you the updates, of course, on that as soon as we receive them from the club tomorrow, the official confirmation. And of course, guys, do I even need to say there is going to be a lot more videos coming up in the build-up to that Liverpool game, a massive contest. We are 3-0 to the good, but we have to see the job through. We have to get through that game. We must reach the final. And of course, all of those videos, all of that build-up, coming up very shortly for you, very, very soon. Thank you as always here for joining me, guys. Thank you for taking the time out to watch this review, even though we lost. I really do appreciate it. I will see you tomorrow when the videos continue. But until then, enjoy your Saturday. Vesca! El Barça.